Coinbase was started 9 years ago in 2012 by Brian Armstrong and Fred Ehrsam. The company just filed their S1 and they're going public through a direct listing on Nasdaq with the ticker COIN at a reported $100 billion valuation. Coinbase started as a brokerage to buy and hold Bitcoin, but since then they have expanded their product offerings. The company's mission is to create an open financial system for the world. Across the company history, Coinbase has facilitated around $496 billion of transactions, and they hold around $90 billion of assets on their platform. Coinbase mainly serves three constituents: retail investors, institutional investors, and ecosystem partners such as merchants and developers. So let's take a look at Coinbase product portfolio. Again, Coinbase started as a way of buying, holding, sending and receiving Bitcoin, but since then has expanded its product offerings. They added features like paying, investing, storing, staking, and distributing other cryptocurrencies. Coinbase has a huge potential of becoming the leading company in the cryptocurrency space, and they are just starting. They list a few applications in their S1 of cryptocurrencies that span financial and non-financial applications. Store of value, 24/7 to 365, real-time transactions, digital marketplaces, and peer-to-peer financial applications, or known as DeFi. Let's take a look at their metrics and go-to-market strategy. In 2020, the company derived most of its revenue from trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. These pairs drove over 56% of the total trading volume on their platform. But even though this pair represented the majority of the revenue in 2020, Coinbase is diversifying the revenue away from these two. Bitcoin represented 60% of their total transaction in 2019, and in 2020 it represented 44% of their total volume. That's due to the fact that the company is expanding to other assets and users venture to other assets. What's also interesting to notice is that retail represented 80% of the revenue in 2018 and 36% of their total trading volume in 2020. Institutional investors are representing more and more of the total transactional volume. But because they transact in such high volume, Coinbase take rate is much lower compared to retail investors. At the end of 2020, Coinbase had cash and cash equivalents of around $1.1 billion, $49 million of USDC, $130 million of Bitcoin, $23.8 million of Ethereum, and $34 million of other assets. Coinbase has spent less than 5% of their total revenue in sales and marketing, and 90% of their users were acquired organically. The company does have customers in hundreds of countries, but the US still represents 76% of their total revenue, and European countries represent the other 24%. That means that Coinbase has a huge opportunity ahead of them. But there are other strong competitors in other markets. For example, Binance, that was started in Asia, has more volume overall compared to Coinbase. They do not only have the opportunity to expand globally, but they also have the opportunity to expand to other services. Even though subscription products and services do not represent a big portion of Coinbase revenue, they are growing very quickly. They experience around 126% of annual growth in 2020 compared to 2019 in that area. What about their market opportunity? Coinbase market opportunity in trading alone is massive. The company has 43 million verified users in its platform and only 2.8 million monthly transacting users. roughly 6.5% of their total verified users. And the average revenue per user is around $800. Coinbase states in their S1 that they hope to attract the 3.5 billion smartphone users. If Coinbase can attract anywhere between 2 billion and 3.5 billion users, and around 6.5% become monthly transacting users, the implied market size could be from $48 billion to $246 billion. And one crazy stat, Coinbase holds roughly 12% of the world's crypto assets today. Let's take a look at Coinbase financials. Coinbase discloses a substantial amount of financial information in their S1. Let's take a look at their charts. Coinbase has to be one of the fastest growing companies at their stage. They generated around $1.3 billion of revenue last year at around 41% EBITDA margin and grew at around 139% year over year. And it saw an almost $400 million increase of cash last year. In Q4 of 2020, the company almost generated around $600 million of revenue and grew almost 500% year over year and generated around 50% of EBITDA margin. Transaction revenue represents around 80% of its total revenue. But their other streams are growing fast. Their transaction revenue is highly sensitive to crypto volatility. This chart from their S1 represents it very well. It benchmarks how much users are transacting against a measure of how much cryptocurrencies are changing over time. Last, let's take a look at Coinbase valuation. They're valued at around $100 billion in secondary markets, and they're probably going public at around the same valuation. At an annualized rate, Coinbase generates around $2.4 billion of revenue and $1 billion of operating income. Coinbase has shown impressive growth in the last year, and it's partly driven by last year's Bitcoin bull market. If the growth trajectory keeps happening, Coinbase valuation will be justified. But that's a big if. Coinbase has been branching out into other areas, so its revenue in the future may not come from transactions. It could depend on subscription for services like earning interest on the crypto held in their platform. All in all, we are in the early days of the crypto market, and Coinbase is one of the leading companies in this space. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye.